Role of Hitler in World War II. World War II remains the most destructive conflict in human history. Between 1939 and 1945, nations across the globe were drawn into a war that resulted in the deaths of more than 60 million people. Cities were reduced to rubble, entire communities were erased, and humanity witnessed both extraordinary courage and unimaginable cruelty. At the center of this global catastrophe stood Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany. His rise to power, extremist ideology, and aggressive decisions played a decisive role in shaping the course of the war. This documentary examines Adolf Hitler's role in World War II, how he rose to power, how his beliefs drove Germany into conflict, and how his actions led to devastating consequences for the world. Germany after World War I. To understand Hitler's role in World War II, it is necessary to look at Germany after World War I. In 1918, Germany was defeated and forced to sign the Treaty of Versailles. The treaty imposed severe punishments, territorial losses, military restrictions, and massive financial reparations. Many Germans viewed the treaty as humiliating and unjust. The country soon faced economic disaster. Hyperinflation wiped out savings, unemployment soared, and political instability weakened the government. Amid this chaos, extremist political movements began to grow. It was during this period that Adolf Hitler emerged as a powerful speaker and propagandist. He promised to restore Germany's pride, rebuild its strength, and punish those he blamed for the nation's suffering. Hitler's rise to power. Adolf Hitler joined the Nazi Party in the early 1920s. His speeches focused on nationalism, anti-communism, and racial ideology. He blamed Jews, minorities, and political opponents for Germany's problems. In 1923, Hitler attempted to seize power in the failed beer hall putsch. He was arrested and imprisoned, during which he wrote Mein Kampf, a book outlining his ideology. In it, he promoted racial superiority, anti-Semitism, and territorial expansion. By exploiting economic hardship and fear, the Nazi Party gained widespread support. In 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. Once in power, he moved quickly to eliminate opposition. Political parties were banned, the press was controlled, and Germany became a totalitarian dictatorship. Hitler now had absolute authority, Nazi ideology and expansionism. Hitler's worldview was driven by two central ideas, racial supremacy and territorial expansion. He believed that so-called Aryans were superior and that Jews were enemies of the state. These beliefs became official government policy. Hitler also promoted Lebensraum, meaning living space. He argued that Germany needed more land to thrive, particularly in Eastern Europe. Beginning in the late 1930s, Hitler openly violated international agreements. Germany rebuilt its military, remilitarized the Rhineland, and tested the limits of European resistance. In 1938, Germany annexed Austria, followed by the seizure of parts of Czechoslovakia. Western powers hoped that appeasement would prevent war, but it only emboldened Hitler. The outbreak of World War II. On September 1, 1939, Adolf Hitler ordered the invasion of Poland. German forces used Blitzkrieg lightning war, combining air power, tanks, and infantry for rapid attacks. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany, marking the beginning of World War II. Over the next 2 years, Hitler's military strategy appeared unstoppable. German forces conquered Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, France. By 1941, Nazi Germany dominated most of Europe. Hitler's power reached its peak. While the war expanded, Hitler's most horrific crime was unfolding behind the front lines: the Holocaust. Driven by extreme anti-Semitism, the Nazi regime implemented policies to isolate, deport, and ultimately exterminate Jewish people. Ghettos were established, and millions were transported to concentration and extermination camps. 6 million Jews were murdered. Millions of others, Roma, disabled individuals, political prisoners, and minorities were also killed. The Holocaust was not a byproduct of war. It was a deliberate and systematic genocide, authorized and encouraged by Hitler's leadership. Major mistakes and turning points. Despite early successes, Hitler made critical strategic mistakes. In 1941, he launched Operation Barbarossa, invading the Soviet Union. This decision opened a massive two-front war that strained Germany's resources. Later that year, after Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, Hitler declared war on the United States, bringing a powerful new enemy into the conflict. The Battle of Stalingrad marked a turning point. German forces were defeated and the momentum shifted in favor of the Allies. From that moment, Germany was largely on the defensive. Defeat and death. By 1944 and 1945, Allied forces advanced from both east and west. Cities across Germany were bombed, and German armies collapsed. As Soviet troops closed in on Berlin, Hitler retreated to an underground bunker. Refusing to surrender, he remained convinced of ultimate victory. On April 30, 1945, Adolf Hitler committed suicide. Days later, Germany surrendered, bringing the war in Europe to an end. Conclusion and legacy. Adolf Hitler's role in World War I was decisive and catastrophic. His ideology fueled aggression, genocide, and global destruction on an unprecedented scale. The war left deep scars, physical, emotional, and moral, that are still felt today. World War IA stands as a warning of what can happen when hatred, propaganda, and absolute power go unchallenged. Remembering this history is essential to preventing such tragedies in the future.